these sounds. But who? Why turn a kid's game into horror? My first theory was the warden, and yeah, I can't see a deep dark, but maybe it's... I mean, this gets pretty deep in the cave. It's possible that a deep dark biome could have spawned a little bit higher up, right? After all, there was Skulk. Wait, yeah, not just the warden, but the chimes. There was also those Skulk noises. That means there has to be Skulk near here, right? This is where in the Reddit post the guy stopped with the creepy sounds, the heavy breathing. It was here. So the deep dark should be here, and yet nothing. Maybe over in this direction? The Skulk just has to be nearby for us to hear it. He would have heard it just before getting to this lava. At least, I think that's how the timeline works out. Nothing. There is no Skulk here whatsoever, and yet we heard Skulk in the track. This is the second thing that doesn't line up, guys. Yes, we heard the bats. Yes, we heard the blocks. Yes, we heard the cave chimes, but we haven't heard footsteps, and we haven't heard Skulk. Something is missing, unless this thing that might exist, maybe, was manipulating the sound to scare the player, making them think that there was a warden here, making them think that the Skulk was here, but it never was. Let's try a different angle. What if we try looking at the sound? Before you all start typing in the comments, you can't actually look at sound, you can only hear it. Well, actually, you're wrong. You can. This is a waveform. It is a visual representation of sound, and it can give us lots of information. Like, for example, Disc 11 is half the length of both Disc 5 and Disc 13, which I didn't even know. Also, we've only been listening up to about 30, 40 seconds. It turns out there's way more to the story, but this is actually not how I want to look at sound. I'm gonna click into Disc 5 here, and you can see this is called a spectrogram. It is a spectral representation of all the waves that sound emits when it plays. Except I don't see anything in here. Maybe if we zoom in a little bit. Do you see something? A symbol? Maybe a message written by whatever myth is playing these scary sounds? Oh, it just looks like a bunch of lines. All right, well, let's go back. We'll try Disc 11. Wait. Do you see that? Hold up. Let's just zoom in right at the end here. That kind of looks a bit like a Minecraft face? I don't know. It's a little bit of a stretch. I want something clearer. Maybe a word? Perhaps Disc 13.
Mahal, bakit dyan ka kumakain? Tabihan mo ako rito kumain.
Disc 13 has nothing in its spectrogram. You could check the cave sounds. After all, they seem pretty connected to this. There's like something like 19 cave sounds. Cave 3. Nope. The spectrogram just looks like a P. A P is not scary. What about cave sound 14? Whoa. I was focusing on the sound and I just realized that is undoubtedly a face. In fact, that's a creeper face. This cannot be a coincidence. Someone has definitely put that there for a reason. It feels like whatever this myth is, it's intentionally trying to scare me. But why? What would it get from scaring the player? In fact, the Reddit post video is just here with the player freaking out about something, and yet all we hear in the background is about here. 039 of our music discs combined. A rewind sound, and then that creepy, happy, sad music. We've never listened past this point, but there are other sounds. Flint and steel? The turning of a page. Wait, what? What could have been so important that my boy was reading a book while being hunted by this myth? You can see he's running again, but he opened a book, he flipped through pages. And then silence, look at that. Dead silence here in Disc 5. Because he stopped here at the lava. He didn't know what to do next. This will tell us what happens next. Right there. Replay that again. Did you hear that? That's the bubbling of lava. So we're definitely in the right spot. There's no doubt about it. But then this looks kind of scary. What follows? Some sort of glass breaking? Like, what if it was a potion of fire resistance to get across the lava? That would make the most sense since we don't hear any form of footsteps after that point. And when you're inside a liquid, you don't hear footsteps. Obviously, I don't have a fire resistance potion on me, but If we're correct, the player then ran down here to escape this myth. I continue to recreate the steps of this player until finally I reached a dead end. No, you have to be kidding me. After all of this, the discs mean nothing? This can't be how the story ends. The thing was chasing the player. Where did the player go? It just came here. Oh my gosh. That's a whole nother ravine, but the player couldn't have gone down there. They would have died instantly. That's loot, not just any loot. Crafting table, furnace. That is the player's inventory. This disc ended here because he died. From falling? Or did the entity push him down there? Paper, bread, book, and quill. Oh my gosh, this is it. This is the player. We don't need that, The paper, I need the book. I need the book. Let's read this. Don't feed it energy. It uses sounds? What does it mean, energy? What is it? The player must have been talking about this entity. That means this myth is real, and it does use sounds, just like we were theorizing. I quickly searched online and found that some people believe that spirits in the real world need energy to survive. What if this myth isn't a virus, but a real ghost? I'm setting a trap to find out what this myth really looks like. Voila. Yes, I know, it's kind of ugly, but it's all based around my theory that redstone is energy, right? It powers pistons, you can use it to open doors and fences, all kinds of stuff. It creates at least some form of energy, so maybe we just spam this and that will feed it? Yeah, okay, now the more that I think about this is kind of dumb. It's not working, firstly, and secondly, people use redstone in their worlds all the time. What if it's used by one of the scary sounds to activate? Instead of a lever, we could use a jukebox, and then out of that, have our redstone comparators. All right, this feels like a pretty good theory to me. Hold up, did that comparator just break? Okay, now I'm just getting paranoid, guys. I'm seeing blocks break and they're not. What is wrong with me? All right, let's chuck in this one. That activated the redstone. It sounds scary. Nothing is happening. Is there another way to feed this myth energy? As I continued reading, it turns out that most spirits in movies and books always use fear as their energy. If that's true, what if all Minecraft sounds were made to scare you